sound. The human ear cannot hear what they are communicating with, or like the sounds they're communicating with. That was a weird way to phrase that, but you know what I mean. Alrighty, friends. Let's see who else do we spot out here. I've not seen anybody just yet, but if y'all ever see anyone I don't see, please let me know. I don't want to miss a single thing out here. I do right in front of us in a minute though see a chestnut colored animal up there. We're gonna see that very shortly. That is gonna be a bongo. It's gonna be up here on the left. Bongos are known as the ghosts of the forest because they stay quite hidden. They really don't like to be seen. They've got horns that slick back onto their heads and allow them to run through the forest and the trees without getting stuck on anything. And both male and female bongos have those horns. To the left, you're also gonna see that white and black bird. That is the saddle-billed stork. It gets the same because it has a saddle shape on its bill. It can stand 5 feet tall and have a wingspan of 9 feet wide. Also, they don't have vocal cords, so the way they communicate with each other is by rattling their bills. Alrighty, friends, we are now going to be exiting the Little Ituri Forest and headed into the Safi River region. So the Safi River is characterized by lots of watering holes. We'll find animals getting a drink of water, hanging out, all that kind of stuff. On the right, though, I'm not seeing anybody just yet. I don't think I see anybody, but no worries. We're definitely going to see some more animals here in just a minute. So we shall keep going on into the thick of it and see who we can find. Right over here to the left, under the water actually, I can see some Nile hippopotamus. Nile hippo can be underwater for up to 8 minutes at a time. As adults, they can weigh about 5,500 pounds, and as babies, they weigh about 85 pounds. They have long 18-inch teeth, which are fantastic for helping them defend themselves. But here's the thing, they don't really have any natural predators, so they don't really need to defend themselves, but if they did, those teeth would help. Otherwise, they just use them to eat vegetation like leaves, bushes, shrubbery, stuff like that. If you ever see them swimming underwater though, they're actually not really swimming, they're kind of gliding. They use their stubby little legs to walk under there. Now those white birds that you saw in the middle back there on the island, and there's going to be one sitting on the tree right to our left now, that is the pink-backed pelican. Pink-backed pelicans get their names because their backs turn a pinkish color during the mating season. They usually mate in groups of pairs of 20 to 500, and the incubation period for their eggs is about 30 days long. Now friends, like I said, always important that we stay seated, but especially right now, because we are going to be crossing over Crocodile Bridge. So like I said, stay seated, but if you look to the left, can I get an ooh? Can I get an ah? Exactly, because you are going to see those Nile crocodiles. They can be 16 feet long and weigh 500 pounds. They also live to about 40 years old. They usually incubate their eggs in their mouths by gently rotating them around. When baby crocodiles are born, their parents will carry them to and from places in their mouths. Now, the crocodile really only eats seafood like fish. However, their jaws are strong enough to crush the bone of any animal that comes into their path. Crocodile are very different from alligators. Crocodile have a much rounder jaw, a teethier grin, and they've got a fourth tooth on their lower jaw that juts out. So those are the ways you can actually tell the difference. Alrighty folks, as we round this corner on the right, you're going to see a baobab tree. It's going to be right here on our right. The baobab tree takes about 2,000 years to develop, and it's also called the upside down tree because it does kind of look like it's upside down, right? It kind of looks like its branches are its roots, but actually it's just leafless for about 9 months out of the year. It's also called the tree of life because it can store thousands of gallons of water in its trunk, and a lot of times animals will poke holes in it or break out pieces of the bark to get some of that water. Alrighty friends, we are now headed into my personal favorite part of the reserve, the savanna, specifically the West Savannah. The savanna is an awesome ecosystem with tall trees for giraffes to eat leaves, other trees and bushes for elephants to knock down, and lots of grassy areas for animals that graze and migrate. Here's the thing about the savanna though, y'all. It is an incredibly delicate ecosystem. If one thing goes wrong, the entire savanna could fall apart. Well, now what could that one thing be? Well, it could be a fluke thunderstorm, or too many or too few of a certain kind of animal, or even just some trees falling down. So it's important we do everything we can to learn about the savanna so we can help it out. Now to our right, kind of in front of us, you're going to see the Hartman Mountain Zebra. You're also going to see that smaller one, that is baby zebra Dash. He was born really recently. Zebras are black with white stripes. We know that because of their black nose. A group of zebras is called a dazzle. And African zebras can migrate up to 300 miles. They have a flap of skin under their neck called a dewlap, and it's filled with blood vessels to cool their bodies off if they ever get hot. There's lots of cooler blood in that dewlap that will then circulate throughout the rest of the body to cool their body off. Also, just like no two humans have the same fingerprints, no two zebras have the same prints either. Alrighty, let's look to our left, and in that cave you can see a pack of African wild dogs. Now they're super cute, but they're not incredibly cuddly. Actually, 90% of their hunts end successfully. Usually one dog will leave the pack hunting, and then when that dog gets tired, another one will take its place. And they'll just keep going until they tire out their prey. Now they are a part of the canine family, but they only have 4 toes, not 5. And they don't really bark, they kind of make like a chirping noise. Now over here to the left, those gray animals are the wildebeest. Wildebeest get their names from the Afrikaans language. Afrikaans is a derivative of the Dutch language, and their name means wild beast. They're the second most densely populated species after humans. Once a year they have the Great Migration, where 1.5 million of them migrate across 500 to 1,000 miles. The way they don't get lost, though, is they have scent glands in their hooves to help them find each other. Also, the noise that they make sounds like the word new, like N-E-W, but it's spelled G-N-U, and the G is actually silent. Now over there to the left on that hill, you're going to see some Nkoli cattle. They're also called the Watusi cattle after the tribe that first domesticated them. They're the only domesticated animal here on the reserve. But right here to the right, you're going to have a great view of baby zebra Dash and his mom. I can't stop there, but I can go slow so y'all can get some good images. But back to these Nkoli cattle that are going to be up here on our left. They do have long horns that can be about 3 to 4 feet long, but they actually only weigh about 10 to 20 pounds. That's because they have a hollow inside honeycomb structure filled with blood vessels to cool their bodies down. The one furthest from us, like kind of up on the hill more, that is Ace. I know him from the others because his horns kind of look like they're in the shape of a field goal post. Now to the right over here, we're going to see some more wildebeest. Now in just a moment, friends, up here on the left, we're going to see some Maasai giraffes. Maasai giraffes have kind of like a splotchy coat. It's almost like I took a watercoloring paintbrush and painted on their coats. They're the tallest animals in the world, standing 18 to 20 feet tall. They also have the highest blood pressure of any animal because their heart can weigh 25 pounds and can be 2 feet wide. Giraffes actually only sleep for 30 minutes a day though, and even then only for seconds at a time. Usually they sleep while standing up. That's because they're always ready to protect or defend themselves. You'll only see them sit or lie down if they're super comfortable in their environment. What's pretty cool is here on the reserve, you'll see them sit and lie down quite often, which means they're super comfortable here. So comfortable that one time a mama giraffe actually gave birth to a baby giraffe live in front of guests on the safari. When a baby giraffe is born, it has a 6-foot drop to the ground, but within an hour it can stand, walk, and run. Now giraffes have purple tongues. The purple color helps them not get sunburnt when their tongues are out eating leaves and trees throughout the day. Also, a group of giraffes is called a tower. And they make a variety of different noises. Lots of grunts, low snarls, murmurs, all that kind of stuff. But also a low bleating noise that sounds like the noise that a sheep makes. Alrighty friends, we are in for a treat because on our right I see an African elephant and on our left I see some mandrills. Mandrills on the left are the world's largest monkeys. An adult male weighs about 100 pounds and a female weighs about 35 pounds. They have blue and red on their faces and their backsides, but they're not baboons. Baboons actually don't have tails, but mandrills do have that short little tail. You can tell a male apart from a female because the males have a much brighter blue and red than the females do. Also, they have little sacs in their, or little pockets in their mouths on each side of each cheek that can help store snacks for later. They also have 2-inch canine teeth that actually, when they're trying to greet each other, they'll bare those teeth at each other. Now friends, to the right, we're going to see that African elephant again. It's going to be kind of in the corner, so you'll want to turn your neck around to see. African elephants have ears in the shape of the continent of Africa. They also only have one dome on their forehead, not two, and they're much larger than Asian elephants. African elephants will oftentimes flap their ears to cool their bodies off because they've got blood vessels under those ears. And lots of times they'll use their trunks to throw dirt and mud onto their backs, so it kind of acts like a natural sunscreen. Now unfortunately, elephants are facing a lot of habitat destruction. That's because they live in habitats characterized by a mineral called coltan. Coltan's actually what keeps a lot of our bones and stuff small while still working. Well, due to this habitat destruction though, elephants are trying to find new places to live, which oftentimes will lead them to wandering onto farmers' crops. Now you can imagine farmers not too happy about this, and then they poach the elephants. Overall, not a great situation. However, here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, we actually found out that elephants are really scared of the buzzing noises made by bees. Random, right? How such like a large animal can be scared of such a small thing? Well, because of this knowledge, we worked with farmers in Africa to set up beehive fences around their crops. That scares the elephants away, so they no longer poach. Oh wait, that scares the elephants away so they no longer stomp on the crops, and now farmers no longer poach the elephants. Plus, farmers have a new resource to sell, which is the honey made from bees. Now, this does still leave, though, one pretty big issue. What do we do about the habitat destruction these elephants are facing? Well, that's kind of where all of us come in. Something we can do to help is we can start recycling our electronic devices. Whenever we upgrade our newest to the newest phone or whatever it may be, go ahead and recycle that old one so that less coltan is mined and more habitat space remains for elephants. Now, elephants are unfortunately being poached for their tusks as well, because their tusks are made out of ivory, which is considered extremely valuable on the black market. However, what's pretty cool is there's actually a nut called a tequal nut, T-A-Q-U-A-L, a tequal nut, and it's a really good substitute for ivory on any market. So the more awareness we can raise about the tequal nut, the more we can do to help these animals out. Now usually the oldest female elephant is the matriarch, and she'll take a baby elephant under and help it grow until about the age of like 12, 13, or 14. And then once it reaches that age, if it's a male, it'll go live on its own in solitude. But if it's a female, it'll actually go live with the rest of the herd. Also, the gestation period for an elephant is about 22 months, which like, yes, that's a long time, but it does make sense considering such a large animal has to develop. Anyone over on the left here? I don't think so. Alrighty, my friends, as we round this corner over here on the left, we're going to see a flamboyance of greater flamingos. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance, and greater flamingos are the tallest and largest species of flamingos. They get their pink color when they eat brine shrimp, which has beta-carotene in it. Usually when they're born, they have kind of like a grayish color, but as they eat more of that brine shrimp, they'll get that pink color. Also, if you look at their legs and look at their knees, those actually aren't their knees, those are their ankles, and the rest down is just their foot. Alrighty, my friends, we are now going to be exiting the West Savannah and headed into the East Savannah, so we should see a pretty different collection of animals out here. The West Savannah was filled with like lots of open space, right? That's for the animals that migrate and graze in the grass, and they actually survive by being out in the open. A lot of those animals stay in the open because then if they're attacked, everyone can see it and then know who attacks and they'll attack the predator. But over here in the East Savannah, it's a lot of animals that tend to stay a little shyer, a little quieter, more reclusive, or they just like to camouflage. So over here you've got animals like cheetah that we might be able to see because they kind of like to stay hidden and then they attack when the time is right. Back there to the right, you can kind of see walking over there a white rhinoceros. All the way in the back. We'll get a better view of them later. And sure enough, right there to the left, we have a cheetah are the world's fastest land animals. They can reach speeds of 60 miles per hour within 3 seconds. They're great sprinters. They can usually run the length of an American football field, but after they get pretty tired. Their tail acts very similar to the leather of oak, helping them paint structure they're running. They also have black under their eyes, which helps easily reflect the sun.
连着的呢，米这这会他提出来。
Now friends, if you've seen the movie The Lion King, then you've seen a Kopi Rock formation before when you saw Pride Rock. Now unfortunately the lions are not out, they are relaxing on vacation while their habitat undergoes some reconstruction. But to the left that is a Kopi Rock formation. We'll see some more animals though, so don't worry.
No creo, para tenerlos afuera. Que se monte por aquí.
Alrighty my friends, now up here to the right we're going to see some white rhinos. We're also going to see a Bontebok named Sebastian. I'm going to start with Sebastian. That is that small little brown animal right there. Now unfortunately, Bonteboks, in the 20th century, there were only really 20 of them in the world. That's because they've been poached like crazy for their fur. It sometimes gives off a purplish gloss that's considered really fashionable. Now that those numbers though have risen, they now are up in the thousands actually, so farmers have actually really helped with that conservation. But it's important that we do everything we can to help out even more so that these animals don't go extinct. Now the white rhinoceros, or the many of them over there, white rhinos, they actually get their name because it's a mispronunciation of the Afrikaans word "veit." "Veit" means wide. They have really wide mouths which help them graze in the grass. They also weigh about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds. And a group of rhinos is called a crash. They can usually charge about 35 miles per hour, and they can only see about 10 feet in front of them. That's because they do have that horn like right in the middle of their face. But they have excellent hearing, which definitely makes up for that lack of vision. Alrighty friends, to the left, hanging out this little burrow right here, you can see a warthog. And who do we usually associate warthogs with? Pumbaa, exactly. Hakuna Matata, it means no worries. Here's the thing though. Hey friends, make sure we are staying fully seated though. Trust me, I know it's super exciting, but we do have to stay fully seated for my friends back there in the 8th row, I believe. Or 9th row. Gotta be fully seated for me, please. Thank you so much. Just the most important one on the safari. But yeah, so like I said, Pumbaa and Swahili doesn't know what's wrong with warthogs. They're incredibly smart. They're one of the only animals that can back up on their own. They also can run at about 35 miles per hour, create their own burrows, and borrow burrows from other animals. The tusks that are on the top are used for digging their burrows, but the ones on the bottom are used to defend themselves. Also, they are diurnal and nocturnal. They can change their mind whether they sleep at night or in the day. They just kind of make it up based on the day. Now to the right, you're going to see some ostriches as well, and some ostrich eggs. Ostriches are the world's tallest and largest birds. They do have wings, but they cannot fly. Those wings just help them change direction when they're running. They run about 35 miles per hour, similar to the white rhinos and the warthogs, and they have extremely strong legs, strong enough to kick a lion if they ever needed to. Now those ostrich eggs can actually weigh about 3 pounds, and a human could even step on them without them cracking. Alrighty my friends, we are now going to be headed into the newest part of the reserve. We are going into the Magadi Glen. Now the Magadi Glen is home to some super cute animals. They're so cute and so small. They're going to be over here on the left. These are going to be the Nigerian dwarf goats. They're so small and they actually stay the size their entire life. They have a great relationship with the environment, making milk and cheese they sell in the local market. They also take up very little habitat space. That makes room for other animals. They eat weeds that other animals don't usually eat as well. Now, if you ever see them playing around, that's actually a sign of them maturing. The group that plays the most is technically considered the most mature. Alrighty friends, I do have some sad news. It does look like our safari is coming to an end today, but did we enjoy ourselves out there? Did we have a good time, y'all? Yeah, very good. That's what I like to hear. We definitely saw a lot of animals out there. Unfortunately though, a lot of those animals are being poached or going extinct or facing habitat destruction, right? So what can we do to help? Well, here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, there is what we call the Disney Conservation Fund. You can go to any merchandise location or any store here at the theme park, and you can donate to this fund, and Disney will actually match your donation dollar for dollar. On top of that though, y'all, there's lots of other things you could do.